Hey guys, welcome to Rising Stars. I'm your interim host, Sean Watt. This production is sponsored by Urban Eats MTL. I have a very special guest with us today. His name is Teefer. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm great. How are you, man?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. How long have you been acting for?
Long time. I think my first play ever was in elementary school.
Wow.
Yeah, we did some type of, I can't even fully remember what it was. It was like some type of off-brand fairy tale coming together type of thing.
Sounds like an elementary school kind of
thing.
Right?
Yeah. I had a very small role in that, but I enjoyed it.
So how did you get into that first play, though? Because I imagine that's the first time that you ever dipped your feet into acting, right?
Yeah. I can't fully remember. I think it was like grade 6, grade 6 maybe, grade 5. And basically it was like a school play, and there was a bunch of us that signed up to do it. You didn't really have to audition. You didn't have to audition. So we signed up, and I got like this small role, and I was like, hey, I kind of like this, you know what I mean? Yeah. So then after that, going into high school, when we had to pick our elective, being art, dance, drama, or music, I was kind of like, hey, I like doing this. Like, maybe I'll give it a try. So I joined the drama class, and I mean, I've been doing plays ever since. I did a play every year since then, and then took off to college, did theater as well, and just been doing it ever since.
So I'm getting the vibes that you're purely a theater actor. Is that
mostly
how it works?
Mostly, like all my experience is theater based.
Okay.
But now I'm looking to get more into the film and television.
Now that you're saying that, I can hear it in your voice. I'm like, yeah, you're a theater actor.
Yeah.
Right away, it's the voice. Well, it carries.
I love theater. I love it. It's so raw, and it's honestly like, they say that there's a saying basically that says, film and television will make you famous. Well, I think they say film will make you rich, television will make you famous, theater will make you good.
Yeah.
And I believe that. Yeah. I believe that it's definitely the stepping stone to becoming like a great actor.
Okay. Just because it is on the spot and you can't make mistakes, and even if you do, you still have to go with it, or
you got to play. You know what I mean? You're kind of in this field where you have to just keep going, and whether it's the actor making those conscious decisions or whether it's the character, that's a whole other discussion. But there's so much discovery every time. It's going to be different. It's not repetition. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes when you're doing film or television, you're just going to keep doing the same scene, get all the different angles, whereas...
you can do takes. I've heard Jim Carrey, he did a take, I think it was it Dumb and Dumber, I think? Okay. One of those kind of movies. And I think he did it over 100 takes.
You know what I mean? And Kubrick was big for that too.
They weren't even exaggerating about it, but it was like Jim Carrey was doing it 100 times.
Yeah.
Over and over and over.
Stanley Kubrick did the same thing with The Shining. I mean, just overworking. So anyways, and that's fine. Like, I'm not against that either. But the idea with theater is that you're going through with it in character regardless of what happens. You know what I mean? And one thing that's also really nice about theater, you don't always get it with film and television, but it does come up, is that with theater, I mean, you have a long rehearsal process.
I know.
You're always making new discoveries with the character, and you're working on that character, and you get to fully embody that character when you're doing your performance. So I love it for that. I think that it's so challenging. Not to say that film and television isn't a challenge in itself. It's a different type of challenge. You know what I mean? Because you got to be consistent. But my heart definitely lies with the theater performance.
It sounds like it's a little bit to do with like the adrenaline that comes with it. Because every single show that you do, it's live. It's in front of a live audience. You get that adrenaline. It's like when you get a tattoo or something, right?
That's it.
And it becomes an addiction.
Well,
you want more.
The thing is too, it's good and bad, because sometimes you also get that instant reassurance. Either the audience is laughing or the audience isn't. And both of those could be good. Both of those could be bad.
Yeah, you gotta bail.
You know what I mean? You don't want to get in your head.
Put on a different mask.
You know what I mean? Can we try that again? But look, I mean, so with that being said, like I've done a lot of theater, and I trust myself in that sense. Now I'm really trying to vacate towards the film and the television.
It's a challenge, only because I've heard from a lot of theater students. Obviously, your body movement and your voice is a certain tone and a pitch. And it's hard to just tone that down to a room voice like this, right?
Yeah.
Being in the moment, being subtle.
Yeah.
You can do half tones. You don't even have to do a full tone when it comes to acting. So your voice, the dialects are going to be changing, and fluctuation is very important.
Yeah,
when it comes to voice.
That's so true. And I feel like once I actually started doing some acting in front of the camera, or like scene work that's not on a stage or in an auditorium, it really became about the subtleties.
Everything is.
You know what I mean? Because
as soon as you think it, it shows.
It shows.
You don't even have to, just it shows.
And it's all in the eyes.
It is.
It's insane. The camera picks up on that.
And your face.
Yes.
Everything. All the muscles there. Yeah.
Something as little like if I'm delivering a line to you and I'm looking you straight in the eyes, it's a lot different than if I'm looking at you and as I deliver the line, I kind of just look over like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that makes such a difference. It completely changes the intention of the line or the message that I'm trying to portray.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very different in that sense, but like I said, it's a challenge of its own. It's very rewarding too. I mean, what's rewarding about film and television is that now you have your work showcased.
Well, that's what it is. It's the viewership that comes along with the territory, right?
The viewership,
which is
yeah,
acknowledgement in terms of people who appreciate your character and your craft. And that's a big compliment.
Massive.
Whereas theater, you see the people applaud you and you see those compliments live in person.
Yeah.
But apart from that, maybe you'll run into someone who'll be like, "Hey, I saw your production, great job." You know what I mean? Take a picture, selfie, whatever.
Or like, once you're done with like with like a theater production, like it's done. You're on to the next thing. But if you do film or television, you wrap, and then you got a bit of time, and then it comes out, and you're reliving that all over again.
Good income coming in.
Of course, the residuals. But the thing is too, it's like you get to look back on it now.
Yeah.
Like you get to actually have this in your archives and look back at that. Like you don't always have that. Like I have some recordings of a lot of my old theater stuff, but not all of it. No. Like for a lot of it, like most recently we wrapped Gruesome Playground Injuries back in October.
Yeah.
We were doing that at the main line, and I don't even know what my performance looked like. Like we don't have a recording of that.
That's sad.
You know what I mean?
It'd be nice to have something like that.
Yeah, it's good and it's bad. You know what I mean? Because it's nice to have the mystery. That's like the very like artistic side. It's like, yeah.
It's like when Netflix recorded Hamlet, and then all those Hamlet actors became famous because they recorded it, right? And it's like maybe that'd be a good idea that you start something like that. Start a production company that just records these plays and start streaming it for people to watch.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that don't have access to theaters.
It's true.
Right?
It's true, and it's almost under advertised.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Hugely under advertised. Unless you're in New York, then it's a given.
Of course.
Broadway, let's go. And it's a huge tourist thing.
Yeah, of course.
But that could be a thing here in Montreal too.
I think that it should be.
Right. To play your cards right. If you have an idea and execute, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Put word of mouth to action.
In Montreal, I think something like that would actually do really well because we do have a good theater scene here.
A lot of tourists come in all the time.
Yeah, it's true.
F1, imagine if you get a theater production during F1. Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow, you're going to have to go to the Olympic Stadium and perform like Beyonce or Taylor Swift. Man.
Imagine, like the Greeks used to do. Everyone
exactly. In Gladiator Arena, right?
Amphitheaters.
What I'm noticing too is like, for example, Nicolas Cage, he has like a monotone accent, but he also has sort of like a theater voice.
Yeah.
So going from a theater voice and saying like, for example, if it's not so subtle or like a half a tone, like if you're going to tell your partner like, I love you, right? With like that true meaning. But when you have a theater voice that's not trained for film and television, it's like, I love you. You know what I mean?
It could be too much.
So aggressive.
Yes.
It sounds so passive aggressive,
and
even though you're not meaning to, right? And I think that's your challenge more than anything is just working on your tone.
100%.
Just
the tone and
just
even the physicality.
Like think of it as for you need to set your mind to your whispering.
Yeah.
And even though you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm so quiet, it's going to be a real just room voice.
That's a big adjustment that a lot of theater people have to make going into like the camera part of it. You know what I mean? And I think I'm only starting to get more to that now.
Yeah.
Because naturally when I'm not speaking loud, I'm a bit of a mumbler. Like I mumble.
Well, that's why, because you're not articulating.
I don't articulate much. Like I really don't. And so what I would always do in like scene work is I would would try this like articulation where I'd start articulating my words, and it was almost coming off as like an acting voice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd look stuff back and I'd be like, that's so not authentic. Like, it's so not.
Because you can tell when you're a trained actor, you're just like, oh, that's really bad.
Yeah,
you know?
and I've always noticed that was there, but it was actually one of my good buddies that pointed it out to me, where I was like, okay, you're right. I did notice that, and now that you notice it, I realize that's a problem. So now what I'm trying to do is just embrace that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
I find you're starting to see it a lot more now, people embracing stuff like that. So, I just stick to my natural voice, because then the lines will come out more authentically, and the authenticity is the number one thing that you want when you're portraying any character.
Yeah, it's a genuine stuff, right? It's
100%.
Genuine emotion and stuff like that.
Yes.
And it's true. Let's just say it's just a true form of the character portraying itself.
That's it.
That's the way I see it.
100%. And I think that also there's something to be said about, because we're talking about theater people going to film.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about film people taking a shot at theater, because when you're doing theater, especially something like Shakespeare, okay, but not even only Shakespeare, but anything, you really have to find the heart of the character.
Yeah.
You really do. And there's a lot of film and television actors where they're not finding the heart of the character.
No.
They're memorizing their lines, and they're trying to figure out how to play the scene.
You know why that occurs? It's because a lot of the casting is based solely on looks.
I know.
And it's not based on someone who's actually feeling the scene. And that's a sad part of the film and television industry, is like, oh yeah, okay, we want someone who's not gonna overlook the lead actor or actress because they're too attractive. We need someone who's slightly ugly.
There's a lot of that.
Not so talented,
Yeah.
but just do your lines, man, because you look the part.
You know what I mean?
Right?
And it's like a lot of people will come into a scene already having made decisions on how they're going to deliver their lines based on expectations of how their scene partner's going to react.
Yeah, no, they're pre-planning.
You can't do that.
No.
Learn the lines, understand your intentions in the given circumstances.
And then let the scene evolve how it's supposed to.
Let it go, because you're only going to get those reactions from your scene partner when you're doing it with your scene partner.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then when they don't react the way that you were expecting,
then
you're going to be thrown off.
Yeah,
you're going to forget your next line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that, my process is more in terms of just making sure that you know your lines, but not knowing them by being said a certain way. Just understand what you have to say.
Yeah.
Understand the given circumstances of the scene. Who's this person in relationship to your character? How do you feel about them?
Yeah.
And what are your intentions? Exactly. You know what I mean? Because then you could play.
Yeah.
Then you could play the scene any way you want. You want me to run it 100 different times? No problem. It's going to be different every single time, because I don't have it rehearsed one way.
Yeah.
You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just going to play. Yeah. You got to be malleable.
Yeah.
Most important thing. That's the most important thing. There's
100%. You hit the spot with that. Let's dive into some more, not like negative experiences, but experiences that you would maybe not like to remember. So let's say, for example, audition fails or nightmares or things like that. Tell us some stories, man. Let's because we're here to sell you. So obviously everyone's been through horrible experiences. I have. I mean, through film and television. So I'd imagine the same thing with theater, and it's probably a little bit more harsher, maybe.
I would say my most recent fail that really hurt. I had done an audition for a full performance motion capture for a AAA game.
Nice.
I don't even know which one it is, because it was so recent it wasn't even cast yet. So AAA game. And I got the call back. I did my self tape. It was all good. And then I did a live Zoom audition callback.
Yeah.
And basically, the casting director, we ran it once or twice the way that I had done it in the self tape, and he told me, look, he's like, it's too polished. He said, this character, he's not clean and organized. Like he's
rugged.
He's rugged. He's rough. He's sporadic. He's like, right now your audition, it's too clean. I was like, I fully understand what you mean. He's like, I want to see you throw something. I want to see you swear. He's like, don't even go with the lines. Don't even go with what you rehearsed. Like, let's just see the raw character come out. And it was movement involved too, obviously, because it's mocap.
Yeah.
So I was driving this truck, and I had to light some cigarettes with some matches, and I had gotten in my head at this point. I had rehearsed it a certain way, and I
Get
didn't
it down to the T.
down to the T,
Yeah.
and I didn't prepare to have it done any other way for my callback. Like I should have been more prepared with that. So I'm like doing the scene, and I'm like doing it how I rehearsed, and trying to figure out. The biggest problem was I was trying to figure out how to make it different within the confines of how I rehearsed, instead of just exploring something completely different.
That's your error. That's your error already.
So
Did
bad.
you do that?
And you know what? There was something that happened that would have been a gift had I known how to utilize that. I was going to light the cigarettes, and the matches, the box just like fell open, and the matches fell all over me.
Yeah.
Which I could have used perfectly because he wanted me to swear. I could have thrown stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I didn't. I panicked, and I just kept going on with the scene.
Blanked.
And instead of using it to strengthen the character, it weakened me as an actor because I didn't know how to keep going from that.
Yeah, but it's because it's the way that the rehearsal went,
and the nerves.
And
You know, it's live with the casting director.
Yeah.
You know, and the production manager, and I'm like, so that one was a rough one for me because I was really hoping to get that.
I'll share one with you since
please.
You shared one with me. I don't know if you know the movie. It's called The United States vs. Billie Holiday.
Okay.
So Lee Daniels, he was directing it. He came here to Montreal.
Oh yeah.
I was auditioning for The Brash Reporter. Okay. So I trimmed everything down just to a mustache.
Yeah.
I looked like Tom Selleck.
Wait, did you have only the mustache and no beard?
Yeah, only the
long mustache or
only mustace.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's like Tom Selleck.
Yeah.
You know, sexy,
burly.
I'm wearing like the funky suit. Right? I'm like delivering my lines when I go to the audition. The thing is, I didn't sleep enough that night. So I slept maybe 2 hours because I was kind of nervous, and I was still new to acting, so I was tossing and turning. And then I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have coffee, but oh no, wait, I have anxiety, so now the caffeine's just accelerating everything, right? So then when I showed up to the audition, I went to go do my lines. I was like, hey, Mr. British, and then I just went blank, and I was blank, and then I started sweating, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna try that again. And then I did the other one, and I kept blanking, and 3 takes in a row, I blanked on everything, and it wasn't even the hardest audition. I had everything memorized, but
the lack of sleep.
Lesson learned. Get a good night's rest. If you have lack of sleep, do not resort to Monster energy drinks or coffee.
No, bro, you'll be shaky.
Yeah, and that's what happened. Is every time I was just blanking, and I had so much anxiety and sweating and eye, right?
Yeah, no.
Which was just crazy.
But you know what? It's funny because I just finished a workshop with Patricia Chica.
Yeah.
We're doing a 5-day intensive workshop.
I'm friends with Jay Tazuni.
Okay.
Him and I were buddies. I partied with him. You know?
So I just met him. He was a guest speaker at the workshop.
Yeah. I saw
Great
his
guy.
post. Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and I, we had a little celebrity party where I met a bunch of his friends.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah, super chill. Very genuine. So anyway, so Patricia was asking us about moments like what we're talking about where you failed but learned something from it. And I mentioned the one that just happened to me, and I said, to be honest, even before you asked me to be proud of it, I told myself that there's not a single workshop or exercise that I could have done that would have given me that experience of what I just went through, because this was real, it was raw, it was in a real-time situation with the casting director, and now, trust me, I'm not going to make that mistake again. No. You know what I mean? Like,
I
got it. Trust me. That spanked me in the butt. So I'm grateful for that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that all actors should, like, once you've gotten the audition, you've done the hardest part of the job. Booking is not the hardest part, because it's not about how you nail it or how good you do. It's about whether they think you look good with the next character, or whether you're tall enough, or whether you understand. If you got the audition, congratulations. You've done it. You did a great job. Move on from that.
I've actually been mentioning this to a few of the other people I've interviewed, is that casting directors are on your side. They're your friend. They want you to corner.
Be. Yeah.
And when you're auditioning through them, it's because they believe in you.
Yes.
But a lot of people, they're like a dog shaking. They're so scared to be in the audition room, but it's nothing to be afraid of. They're rooting for you. If anything, they really are.
They're here because they want you to be it.
And when they invite you, that's a compliment to what you're doing.
Yeah.
So people need to sort of switch that mentality and know that, hey, when I'm getting an audition, it's because they believe in me. And they're trying to find me work.
Yes.
Like, that's a true
they're
friend right there.
Give you the
that's
work.
That's a friend. I consider that a friend.
Yes.
Someone who's helping me.
100%.
Right? Like,
And I think that obviously we're so conditioned to always do the right job, don't do it wrong, make sure you get it. But
that's being human. You know why? When you go to work, they don't expect errors. They expect perfection.
And school
that's
as well.
Society. That is society. You look at society. Don't make an error. You need to get everything 100%. This is why you're doing your test. Da, 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 da.
Yes, exactly.
No, we're human. We're allowed to make mistakes. We're not NPCs. We're not AI. We're not robots.
And on top of that, we're humans, okay? But we're talking about an art form here.
Yeah.
It's all subjective. It is. A certain amount of it has to be right, especially because it is a business still. But all the people that are going to go into that audition trying to get it right are all going to end up making the same choices, doing the same thing, and you're not going to stick out.
No, of course.
You go in there with choices, with decisions, having already experimented it, and be malleable, because if you get notes, and I pray that you will get notes every single time, or feedback, because that is gold, you could adjust.
Yeah.
You know, keep the same, and if they don't talk about the decisions you made, then keep those. Come in being bold. You know what I mean? Because otherwise you're just going to be another guy walking in trying to get the job. As opposed to another guy walking in, showing them that you got the character.
That's why I always think
or
outside of the box.
this is the character.
My goal is I always think outside of the box. I'm like, okay, these are all the cliche ways that someone would audition.
Yeah.
I'm going to go just do a complete left field, and I'm going to make this real interesting and throw them off.
That's so much better than not making any choices.
It's worked out for me quite a bit.
Of course.
Because I'm smart. I'm overthinking all those little cliche, things that the typical actor or actress would do, and I'm just like, you got to think outside of the box, man.
You have to. And honestly, a good exercise is the first 4 or 5 times that you're going to run these sides is probably the same way that everyone else is doing it. Run it 15, 20 times, because it's going to be completely different on your final runs, because you're going to have found discoveries and experiments. Exactly. And that's where you're starting to get it. It's like when you go to the gym and they say once you start sweating, that's when your workout has started. Same thing with acting, man.
Yeah.
Don't pick it up off the sheet, do 5 takes and that's it. Run it.
Yeah.
Take a break, go back to it. Yeah. You're going to have a different mindset about how you're portraying that character, different choices.
When I do acting classes, I disappear from everyone for the week. And I sit there in the dark, put my headphones in, and mentally get into it, right?
Yeah.
There's a thing called mental rehearsals. So when you visualize the way that you're delivering your lines, that actually is very beneficial. And a lot of people don't know that.
Huge.
Yeah, I do it all the time.
Because even in your brain, you're going through the motions of the scene, of the character,
and then
the
it
blocking.
just becomes automatic already and everything. Yeah, 100%. I do it all the time, and a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, no, it's good. It honestly, that really does work, 100%, because you're gonna start making discoveries and choices of, oh, maybe I'm gonna pick that up, or maybe I'm gonna walk. You understand what I mean? As opposed to just, because when you're just rehearsing the lines, you're thinking about dialect, inflection. You know what I mean? Drop that, let it go.
Yeah,
don't think about that.
And blah 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 blah. There's I believe in a thing called overscript analysis, and a lot of people and teachers even try to do that. You need to do this and this and this and this and this, and it's like, you don't have to.
You don't. You don't.
But a lot of the teachers will, sell you on that. Let's do script analysis classes, and you're going to pay $600, and it's like, I could search in Google on how to do this, right? Google has everything.
You could look. And that's dangerous as well, going to Google for all that stuff, because there's so much information and it's all subjective. But so I studied at Dawson College's theater program. I did it's like a conservatory. I call it the conservatory. It's 3 years. Anyways, and we do all that. We do the script analysis, the character breakdown, the beat by beat, the changes, the shifts, everything. Yeah. And it's important to learn that, but to keep it as an intuition. And not as an actual part of your procedure. No, exactly. Now I'm a member at Australian Studios, and we do weekly scene study sessions there. And there's, everyone is really talented there. Everyone's great. But there's some people that'll come in and their script looks like a page out of the Bible. It's got notes, it's got highlights, it's got everything's broken down. and then they'll have trouble when they have to take notes from the coaches. And the coaches, they're really smart there. They really know what they're doing. I love that place. They say, let it go. Yeah. Let it go, because you're in your head. And it's true. Like, I used to do that as well. But now I'm at a point where when I'm doing the scene, every single thought is mapped out. how am I supposed to play the scene when it's like that? Because if my scene partner has let everything go and is going completely off of impulse as they should, how am I supposed to react a certain way when I map this down as I'm going to scream this line?
Yeah.
And here they are hugging me. You know what I mean? Because there's so many different ways to play.
That's actually a huge error, is when you pre-plan stuff like that. It's like all you have to focus on is the lines, sort of the mental state of who your character is, the soul for it, and then you just let everything else come into place when you perform with the partner, and it's spontaneous and it's interesting already.
Of course, when it's spontaneous, it's the best. Let it go, man.
All right, so we're gonna take a step forward towards the left field. So you've studied at Strayon. Have you studied anywhere else here in Montreal?
No. So here's a bit of my story. So after high school, I was, high school is where I really discovered that acting was my thing. After that, I went to Dawson to study cinema video communications.
Okay.
Because I wanted to be an actor, and they had some type of elective that was a theater based, and I was like, okay, I could still do some acting and have something to fall back on. And then, it was like within my first semester, I actually ran into a buddy of mine that I went to high school with, and we were working together at McDonald's, and he's an actor as well. Yeah. And I said, "What are you doing here?" And he goes, "Oh, I just applied for Dawson's theater program." I said, "They have a theater program here?" He goes, "Yeah, it's really good." I say, "Interesting." I said, "So you just want to do that?" And he's like telling me, he's like, "Yeah, you should do it." I said, "No, man, like I need something to fall back on." He's like, "You want to act?" I'm like, "Yeah." He said, "Just do it."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Okay." So I thought about it, and I was like, "Screw it, I'm just gonna do it, man. Like I'm just gonna do it." So whatever, I auditioned, I got in, transferred the next semester. So I did my time at Dawson. After Dawson, I graduated in it was 2017.
Yeah.
I was just so tired and so broke. Like, the hours are insane. The work, like the rehearsals, the everything.
Dedication.
It's so much. And so I was tired and I was broke. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get a full-time job. And that's what I did. And I was just out, like, everything has been going very well for me in my career outside of acting. I work in the automotive industry.
Nice.
Wholesale and export.
Okay.
So it started off in wholesale, and now I have my own company. We do export.
Cool.
But so I've been just climbing the ladder for the past couple of years, and it was only at the end of 2022 where, a lot of my friends, a lot of people that I went to school with, a lot of people that I know in the industry, they were, they're out here booking roles. And I was like, if I want to give that a shot, I got to do it. Like, I got to actually be involved. Like, you can't do it on the side. You got to go fully in.
No. You have to invest 100%.
100%.
It's not 50, not 70, not 10. No.
Because you're only going to get 50% in terms of results.
Yep.
So
you'll never be happy.
Yeah. So it was at the end of 2022, beginning of 2023, where I was looking like, okay, what's the best option for me to jump back in? I was like, I need to grease the gears. So I was looking around at different workshops, different studios in Montreal. And I had always had an eye on Strayon just because I know people that have done it and I've seen their advertisements. And my mom is actually friends with Isabel's, and my mom had brought it up a few times as well. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna audit this class. Yeah. See what they're all about. And when I audited, I was like, wow, okay, these coaches are really talking the language, and the feedback, like, it's all the feedback and the way that they work you and the way that they have you questioning scenes and the characters is very similar to a lot of the stuff that I was learning over at Dawson. So it really resonated with me. And it was the only studio that I audited and that I tried out, but I was like, these guys are good. Yeah. Like this works. So I joined there, and I've just been a member of the studio ever since I joined.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Good. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
Before we wrap things up, I have one last question for you. And this is to sort of help out those aspiring actors and actresses who want to go into theater. If you can give them some advice and tips, to help them sort of start their careers and taking that step into theater. Yeah. What would you recommend to them? And if you want, you can talk directly to the camera or at me, wherever you want.
Yeah. For theater, I would say to just jump in the water. Don't worry about being at Centaur, Seagull, whatever it is. Like, community theater, do it. You know what I mean? Like, there were summers where I was doing theater workshops at a summer camp. You know what I mean? Like, just play scenes, do scene work, okay? So just get off your butt, do something. Okay, Fringe has so many different stuff going on. Like, speak with people, get involved. Facebook community always has stuff going on, different auditions, opportunities. Like, even for short films, you know, like if you want to get into film and television industry, obviously, you know, you want to get an agent, but there's a lot of agents representing non-union, union. So figure that out. Find your agent, but you know, get yourself a demo reel. A demo reel, if you have nothing to put on your resume, at least get yourself a demo reel. You know, find someone with a camera. There's always people that are looking to shoot something, writers that want to shoot something, you know, people with cameras that want to, there's always people that want to work. Put yourself out there, get yourself known, and do little stuff, you know, short films, just small scenes, you know, get something filmed to show what you look like when you're acting and how you act. Put together a 3-minute clip. You could submit yourself to agents. You could submit yourself on your own. You don't even need an agent. You know, you could just submit yourself on, you know, Joint Casting Workbook. You could submit yourself to stuff. Facebook communities, same thing. So just, you got to get the material. Get the material. And whatever you could throw on your resume, don't be picky about the jobs. You know what I mean? Whatever short film you could do, or web series, or mobisode, anything like that, get something on your resume just to show that you're working. Same thing with theater. And get out there, you know, network, meet people. You know, the community is so small. You can meet everyone within 2 years. You know what I mean? So easily. So
awesome. That's amazing advice. Thank you guys for tuning in to Rising Stars. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode as much as I have for hosting it. I'm your interim host, Sean Watt. This production sponsored by Urban Eats MTL. I'll see you guys on the next episode. What a pleasure, man, to have.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much
for
coming.
Thank you.